morning. It's the last day of TED. Here's what the view from breakfast looks like, and here's what breakfast looks like. It's raining. But look at that mountain.
The fact that 50% of jobs today will be automated in the future. How do we prepare the next generation to ensure all have access to basic needs they deserve? Again, such an important question. The leaders have achieved their power without real understanding of economics. No one implied. How can we create a filter that ensures that our future political leaders only represent viable plans? Wow, I would love to see that filter. Given that watching videos is a passive activity, how can we redesign digital TED to be more participative and a two-way platform? Thank you for that challenge. And given that socioeconomic, geographic, and technological differences prevent people from having access to education, how can we break these barriers so that we can create a democratic, open access to an educational system for everyone?
Please talk back. Well, I'm Swedish, but honestly, right now, I like to move to Canada or to Costa Rica.
Yeah. On this stage. Let's take a trust leap together and make that happen. After all, creating big changes requires taking big risks, as Jonathan Tepperman taught us. And we should not shy away from this challenge. In the end, whether you're responding to bogus emails or designing for tolerance through architecture, Chris, I conclude that the value of an idea is measured by the humanity that lives inside it. That is what I will tell my kids when I get home. Thank you to all of those who shared your gifts with me this week.
Artistry, courage, vision, and compassion. Careers in flight, trajectories varied, talents and possibility married.
Incredible weekend, very emotional too. And I wish I had got to meet more of you, but I've been a little bit in the mother cave. And on that note, so last night there was this beautiful party, and I was feeling a little depressed from the AI talk.
Cool music finally got people to stand up.
To hide away with a few people, have a great dinner party, listen to great ideas. The ideas themselves started begging to us. We need to be free, we need to go further, we can't just stay here. And the extraordinary thing was, releasing them brought new people in who persuaded us that we just had to make this mission bigger. We had to let it be free, let it be what it wanted to be. And so here we are, and when I see what TED has become, it's astonishing, it's exhilarating, it's incredible. But what has TED become? I've had that question asked. I mean, are we a cult? We're not a cult. You can go even now. Are we a movement? You know, I don't think we're a movement. I think a movement, people believe the same thing. I think fundamentally we don't believe the same thing, and almost, as Pika just indicated, that's the whole point. I think we're a campfire. To be more precise, we're a group of humans gathered around a campfire that now stretches across the entire planet. And I'd just like to think about this for a minute, because this is deep inside us, this experience. Our ancestors became who they became by gathering around campfires and telling stories, and discovering that this was the most powerful way that they could communicate with each other. That when they listened to each other and looked at each other, they started to feel not just new knowledge, but a desire for across the world. And so this flame that we are gathering around, what is it? Well, it's the fire of knowledge, of enlightenment, of reason, of the extraordinary power of ideas whose time have come. Now, knowledge isn't a fixed thing. It's not one thing. It's a thing that flickers here and dies out. There are times when someone needs to douse water on part of that campfire and say, no, this was wrong. But overall, over time, we come together, we add to the fire, it grows more beautiful, and then we turn out and we see what that fire is revealing. And it's revealing, yes, sometimes it reveals dangers that we didn't know were there, dangers that a lot of the world doesn't know about and that we must address. But more often, it reveals just how astonishing the world is. And the more we add to the fire, the more we realize how little we know about what's out there. And as we've discovered again just this last week, there are so many people who are afraid of this fire. They're afraid of the people gathered around it. They feel uncomfortable with it. But what an amazing thing it is when you can bring someone to it and say, actually, it's okay. It's actually okay. People look different, but we're excited by so many of the same things, so many of the same dreams. We have so many of the same emotions together. We're kind of the same, and come and be part of it. It's okay. It's going to be beautiful. So for me, this is what this community has become, and I can't tell you how much it means to me. This week, we've seen each other in a way that we have never seen each other before. And I thank you for it. I thank you for taking the risk and coming, being part of this experiment. People who've been at TED for years and have never had exposure to all the passion and enthusiasm of some people who are carrying TED to every part of the earth. Everyone's played an extraordinary role here, and it just has meant the world to me personally. Thank you for being part of it. And now, Bruno, you're coming on stage. You have some things to do.
Thank you, Chris, and I can only share my own thank yous, but not only to you, come to it in a second, but to many other people, because this has been a work of love for about 15 months for many, 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 many people.
Head 'em up, head 'em up, come on, head 'em up, right. Cut 'em out, write 'em in, get 'em out, write 'em in, right.
No picnic, and he's like,
I got no place to lay your head.
I haven't done any of it. And, I'm not going to know anyone, and then I'm going to show up and be like,
that's okay though, because there are thousands of people
right now.
No, we have no idea what we're doing.
One single photo.
We're not,
They also don't know what they're doing.
That's what every day.
The TED photo booth.
I am on Facebook.